Today's stop in our 50 States in 50 Weeks series takes us to the Palmetto State. South Carolina is home to miles of beaches, beautiful golf courses, and the Clemson Tigers. And our Will Reeve has a look at the state's rich history.
From the sweeping views of the Blue Ridge Mountains to the 187 miles of coastal serenity, welcome to South Carolina. Famous boardwalks, including Myrtle Beach, also dubbed the mini golf capital of the world, with over 50 mini golf courses. Speaking of golf, the state is home to America's first golf course. Did you know it's illegal to fish with a yo-yo here? And Lee County might have a lizard man? Just outside of Charleston is Fort Sumter, where the first shots of the Civil War were fired. And there's Fort Jackson, the U.S. Army's largest training center. The heritage of the Gullah people still prominent today throughout the Lowcountry region. Thought to be between 300 and 400 years old, the angel oak tree on St. John's Island stands as the oldest living thing east of the Mississippi. And locals know the Palmetto State actually produces more peaches than the Peach State right next door. You'll find college pride and rivalry between the Clemson Tigers and the University of South Carolina Gamecocks. Sweet tea and barbecue were born here. So were television's finest.
Sure about that?
We'd like to solve the puzzle.
I wanna love you.
And Darius Rucker, too, a proud native and the state's official ambassador. Here, the state's smiling faces and beautiful places are brighter than ever.
Only wanna be with you.
All right, Will Reeve, thank you. And for more on that legendary rivalry between Clemson and USC, let's bring in David Caraviello. He's a veteran college football writer and author. All right, David, we have to mention you are a graduate of the University of South Carolina and wrote a book about the history of Gamecocks football. So it's just important to point that out first. But I will ask you, how did this whole rivalry begin?
We're a small state, Ike. We don't have major league professional teams. So the two university football programs have always been the biggest thing around. They both have 80,000 seat stadiums. They both have huge alumni bases. So there's a built-in infrastructure for this to become the biggest thing in the state. And it's been a rivalry since the late 1800s. It's been really, really hotly contested at times, both on the field and off. We had a near-armed standoff in the late 1800s over the result of a game. We've had coaches who didn't like each other. We've had brawls after games. So this rivalry has seen a little bit of everything. And the threat of losing and having to listen to your neighbor for a year is probably outweighs the thrill of winning this game.
Now, this rivalry comes with such a spectacle in college football. So how has that show evolved over the years?
Both of them have openings that are among the most iconic in college football. Clemson has their run down the hill, which I think they call the most exciting 60 seconds in college football, which some other programs may debate. South Carolina has their 2001 themed opening with smoke and pyrotechnics. They both win or lose up seasons or down seasons. They both, for the most part, fill those 80,000 seat stadiums. People still live and die with these games, regardless of what the won-loss records are. And you combine that with the enhanced game day experiences both these universities have sort of crafted around their programs, and it makes for a real experience even before the games have kicked off.
All right, I know we've been showing a lot about the Clemson Tigers and their fans in those videos there, so I'm going to give you a little chance here to fight back. What's the most interesting thing you learned about Gamecocks football in all of your research when you were digging into their history?
The Gamecocks are consummate strivers, Ike. I mean, they've never been as good as Clemson has. They've never reached that pinnacle of winning a national championship like Clemson has. But there's such a cachet with the university. They're bigger than Clemson. They produce more alumni than Clemson. They have probably more fans in the state than Clemson does, despite Clemson's success. And so there's a really proud tailgating tradition at South Carolina. They have the Cockaboose railroads that you've probably heard of, that line outside the stadium, the old train cars that they've converted into tailgating condos. And so South Carolina, regardless of its wins and losses on the field, really embraces this program year in and year out. I know a lot of other programs do that, but once again, there's no other professional team around here, and South Carolina really embraces this program, even though the results have not always been there.
And real quick, we're running out of time here. Who's the better football team this year?
Oh boy, I mean, Clemson could win the national championship. South Carolina has a quarterback that could win the Heisman Trophy. They've only played his top 12 opponents twice. They could definitely do that again this season. Clemson, though, probably head and shoulders above South Carolina, at least right now.
All right, can't wait to watch. David Caraviello, thanks a lot, my man.